Man and Machine is brought to you by HighFlex Mobile Hose Service, Shannons Insurance for Motoring Enthusiasts, and the following sponsors.
Yeah, baby!
It's unbelievable! Bring it on!
Welcome to Man and Machine. This episode we've got muscle, classic and hot rods, so join me as we check this collection out. Roy Manamy, a passionate car guy that's into anything that's propelled by an engine, especially if it looks tough and makes big power. Oh yeah, I nearly forgot. He loves a burnout. Roy, thanks so much for having us here. You're obviously very passionate about your cars. Where did it all start for you?
Started at a very young age that my uncle had a Rambler Javelin and always loved it red. It had a eagle on the bonnet and that's where it all started from. And back in the day, the parents always had the XYs and the HQs, but it was your everyday car. So, you know, 30 years later, 20 years later, we reminisce at exactly what they're doing.
Not only are those early cars quite iconic and very unique in their look and design, but it can take you back to some good old days, can't it, with the old cars?
It certainly does. You just remember you're sitting in the back seat, jumping around, because seatbelts weren't always there, where now they always have to have them on. And yeah, we just remember being a kid and being in those cars and enjoying them. We love the old cars.
And I believe you're in the automotive trade yourself?
We've got our own windscreen business, Roy's Windscreens. We service the southeastern suburbs.
So sell plenty of windscreens and enjoy the fruits of your labour and buy some toys.
We do.
Good on
we
you.
do. We love it.
Roy, you seem to be very passionate about early Holden Monaros. Tell us where that started.
Well, the family had one when we were younger. So down the track I ended up buying a Monaro. I pulled it down, rebuilt the whole car and got it on the road, and it started from there. Bought one, and then the second, third, and it's my passion. I love it.
And you've got some Monaros in the build as well.
I've got a Warwick Yellow 327 which I'm building at the moment. It's just at the paint shop getting finished, and hopefully in about a month or two I should have it to put back together.
And you've got a bare shell here too?
I do. I've got another 327 Bathurst shell which I've had for a good 8-9 years, and it's been sitting in the same spot. I haven't done any work on it. I've pulled it apart and that's where it's sat.
We've all been guilty of that, haven't we?
You just buy another car and you enjoy driving it and you forget about the other cars. So
and you're busy at work trying to make money to
exactly
pay for
right.
them.
Exactly right.
Looks like we've got one angry Monaro here, mate.
It used to be angry. It's not so angry at the moment, but it's got a little small block in it, 350, aluminium headed, makes about 500 horsepower, so it's a bit of fun on the street.
And what did it have before?
434 small block. Hopefully on the dyno next week and back in the car.
So
some
back
action.
into flat out performance mode.
Yes, definitely, mate. That's what we love.
And what sort of numbers has it run at the track?
It's gone mid-10s, so hopefully now it's going to go a little bit better. That's what we keep chasing, isn't it? The numbers.
It's a disease, isn't it?
It is, mate. It is.
And how long have you had this car for?
Oh, it's got to be coming on to about 9 years now. We built it, me and my son had some fun in it and put it together and enjoy driving it.
And this silver mink
and the red trim looks spectacular, doesn't it?
It is my favourite colour in the HK Monaros, but at the moment there's a lot of HKs, a lot of people are painting them silver mint, so I'm sort of getting just a little bit put off a little bit and maybe change a bit of colour soon.
I mean, the whole theme with this car to me just oozes muscle. The reverse cowl hood, the wheels, the engine combo, it's just one tough, serious looking Australian muscle car, isn't it?
They are.
I mean, the Monaro was an awesome body style, wasn't it? It really is one of the true classic Aussie muscle cars.
Honestly, I think it's the best body shape that they've made. You know, you've got the two-door Tiranas and the HQs and that, but I think the HK's got the best.
It's very sleek, isn't it?
It is.
I love the tail lamps too, with the red anodised trim around them. I reckon they look absolutely sensational, don't they?
I'm with you, mate. They've got the best arse in the country, haven't they? I just love driving it. It is a passion of mine. I just love driving it. So you can't really get much better than driving down the road and everyone giving you the thumbs up and asking if you want to sell it. It's not for sale. So when you go to the track, you know yourself how much fun it is. And when you're in that car, ready to, on the start line, you're warming up the tyres, you're trying to get some heat into it, getting it to stick, and then you stage. And you're just sitting there, the car's rumbling, you're watching that Christmas tree, and all you can think about is smashing that pedal, trying to run the best time you can. So, you know, once the light drops and you're accelerating and you're sort of holding on and you're waiting for that time to go by, and 10 seconds, it flies. It feels amazing. A little stock 350 in it with a baby camshaft. It's a 12-second car, it's a nice car.
Shannons Club, a hub for motoring enthusiasts. So join, create your own garage, share pics, videos and stories of your current and past machines, connect with other enthusiasts. Be sure to watch Shannons Club TV with a host of dedicated motoring channels, including past episodes of Man and Machine. So jump on board with Shannons Club. I'll see you on there.
HiFlex Mobile Hose Service, your complete hose breakdown and on-site service partner. HiFlex Mobile Hose Service offers a complete range of quality guaranteed hydraulic and industrial hose and fittings products. We also specialise in preventative maintenance programs such as on-site hose condition auditing, testing and compliance. With our national fleet of qualified technicians, you can rely on HiFlex Mobile Hose Service's rapid response to all of your needs. Call 1300 HiFlex, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Do you have a hydraulic background? Come and join the dynamic HiFlex team. Check out opportunities at www.hiflex.com.au.
Now we're talking 32 Roadster. Love it.
My favourite car of the collection, something different to what I've owned, and I absolutely love it.
So tell us about the drivetrain, the power plant.
It's got a little stock 350 in it with a baby camshaft. It's no performance engine, it's just a nice cruiser. Turbo 350 and a 9-inch. It's reliable, you can drive it pretty much anywhere, mate. It's a good cruiser.
So it's a turnkey, headache-free, non-overheating option.
That is correct. It's a big talking point with a lot of people when you're driving down the road and they're all pointing and going, oh, it's different, and they used to have one when they were younger. And it's a steel body, it's not a glass body. It's a 4-seater, it's got a dicky seat in the back, and as a family we normally just used to hop in and go, and we had a little baby boy, and now it's 5 of us, so we don't all fit in it.
Can't squeeze them in.
Nah, mate, I wish we could. It's the car that everybody in the family likes to go in on a nice day.
Something different and a bit of a novelty, I suppose.
It is. The rod is more of a cruiser, like where the Monaros are a bit more of a hottie. So I love hopping in the rod, roof off, and just enjoy the sun, the wind in your face, and cruise.
It's a different world, isn't it, without a roof?
It is. You don't realise how warm it is outside, because on a 25-degree day, you are burnt to a crisp in a rod. So you sort of notice it a lot more.
Roy, I think I'm in love. A red Monaro.
It's different, isn't it? You don't see many red ones.
Well, I've got to say, I have a bit of an attachment. My dad had a HT Monaro in virtually the same colour, and I was picked up from hospital in that car. And I'll never forget it. It's stuck in my mind, even from those young days, and I just love them. I reckon they're a great thing. They're an iconic shape, aren't they?
They are, mate, they are. Especially like this one. It's not over the top, it's just a nice mild cruiser. It's a 4-speed with a 9-inch under it and a little 327. We've driven it from Sydney, we've driven it to Adelaide. It just keeps going. It's just a nice, comfy cruiser.
And the look with the white walls and the factory caps, that black trim, the red with the black stripe on it, it just gets my heart racing.
I'm with you, mate. It's when I bought it, it didn't have all this sort of stuff on it. I've changed a lot of stuff with it. I've had it for about 12 months now, and we put fuel in it and go for a drive.
And the 327, is she stock or has it been modified?
It has been modified. It's run 12.3 aspirated.
Wow, serious?
It goes good. It's the old style, like fuelie heads on it. It's an old combination, so it gets up and goes when you want it to.
What does she turn to RPM wise?
Oh, I've taken it to 7,700. It doesn't mind that sort of RPM, so
My ears don't mind that sort of RPM either.
I think a lot of people like that.
Nothing like a little small block Chevy revving hard. They're
I
such
agree.
a tough little engine, aren't they?
They are. It's got a nice camshaft in it, but it works well.
So it's a practical all-rounder.
It is. The engine's about 16 years old, and
Sure.
it hasn't had a freshen up, so it doesn't blow smoke, it doesn't use oil. It's just a nice cruise.
Like I said, you just can't kill those little small block Chevys. They are bulletproof, aren't they?
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. As soon as I seen it, it was the right colour. I wanted it, so paid the man the money and drove it from Sydney back to Melbourne. Didn't miss a beat. So it's a 12-second car. It's a nice car.
There's nothing quite like that four-slotter, is there, that manual?
The 4-speeds are great. Having a manual, it's a bit more fun to drive, and you don't drive them every day now. Everything's auto. So it's nice to have something different.
You're in control.
You're driving the car.
This looks like one serious HT Prem with a lot of attitude, Roy.
It has. It's a friend of mine's, Wes's. He bought it a few years back from Geelong, and he's done his final touches on it. It's beautiful.
Tell us about it. Tell us about the power plant.
It's a little small block 406. It's got a glide and a 9-inch. It's been mini tubbed. It's a stout car. It's a mid 10-second car. It's a beautiful car. It's only got really 38,000 miles on this car.
Wow.
And it got pulled down, repainted, and this is how the car is now. And it's tough.
So it was a perfect base. And is the colour a factory colour?
It is. It's called Egyptian bronze. It's a factory colour.
It's got that prestige look about it, the colour, hasn't it?
It has.
And how's the trim? They're just pure luxury, these things inside, aren't they?
They are. This has got the black trim in it. It's really comfortable. You don't realise how good the new cars are, but they hop in the old cars and they're soft and they're, you can
different.
move. They are different. They certainly
Like
are.
sitting in a lounge chair.
It is, yeah, just cruising down the road and...
And he's got the old school centre lines on it. They look the part, and the dash on those rear centre lines looks sensational. They look tough as hell.
Centre lines have never gone out of fashion, have they? Really, no. From when they first came out to now, you still put a good set of centre lines on it, and the car looks awesome. So,
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
I think we have a beautiful old classic here, Roy.
Yeah, it's a 1969 HK Prem. It's got books with the car, and it's only got 19,000 miles, Glenn.
19,000 miles?
19,000 miles with books.
Wow.
The car came up for sale in 1993, and the little old lady wanted to sell it, and she was asking big money back then. It had 17,000 miles in August 93. So it hasn't been driven much. I haven't driven it since I've bought it. I bought it and put it straight in the garage.
This is just one of those dream finds, isn't it? A rare survivor car hidden away. One owner.
One owner.
Little old lady.
Yeah. You just don't find these cars anymore. So when I found it, I had to have it. When you say to people it's got 19,000 miles, they don't believe you. Till you actually see the car and you go, I understand.
It is absolutely spectacular. It's the sort of car that you wouldn't want to probably do too much to in the way of rejuvenation, is it really? You'd want to try and keep that originality about it. I mean, things like chrome and what have we in some areas might be a little bit sad, I suppose. Yeah. What sort of direction are you going to take with the car?
Well, I'm just going to get it polished up, put probably a new front and rear bar on because that's all it needs, and then just put it away. You can't sell it, you're never going to replace that car.
Absolutely not. And the colour too, it's quite unique. I don't remember really seeing too many in this colour combo.
It's called Paragon Blue. I wasn't a big fan of it, but when I seen the car, I thought, yeah, it actually suits that car. But it just needs a little bit of tidying up here and there because it's obviously hasn't been driven so much. Starts, runs, drives, does everything.
So the old 186 is still trucking along, all right?
It keeps going, mate. It's all standard, like nothing's been touched. All the engine bay's standard. It's still got the good boot mat in the boot. It is a survivor.
And a dream find.
It is. A friend of mine actually told me there was a HK Prem for sale. So I went and had a look at it, opened the doors and pretty much fell over. It's got an article in 1993, it had 17,000 miles and the heading was, lady owner drives it once a week to the shops. So
You just don't find cars like that every day. We're used to seeing old worn out examples, and to find something like that's been kept in a time capsule is amazing, isn't it?
it is, it's beautiful. You can't explain it to somebody unless they see the car in person.
Well, I've got to say, I fell over when I saw it too. I've just never seen such a pristine, original example.
It is a beautiful car. And with plenty of power, it goes fast. HKTG runs through my blood, so the son's got to have one, doesn't he?
Aeroflow, famous for our massive range of hose fittings and performance products, now includes Krypton, the ultimate in lightweight hose and fittings. Check out our new 2015 catalogue including air filters, oil filters, hoses, fittings, engine and transmission parts, fuel systems, tanks, silicone hose, exhaust, air conditioning, turbo and nitrous accessories, tools and equipment, plus all your Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro funny car apparel. Get your free catalogue and shop online at aeroflowperformance.com.
Damn, there's just no room under here.
There's no need to do this anymore when you can buy a Tough Lift hoist starting from only $26.50. With over 20 models in their range, including 2-post, 4-post, scissor lift, motorcycle and truck. They're great for storage too. All Tough Lift hoists have Australian standard certification and WorkSafe design registration. With an impressive warranty, in-house technical support and installation options Australia-wide, what are you waiting for? Check out toughlift.com.au.
I love my Tough Lift.
Rare Spares has over 50,000 product lines and releases over 500 new products every year. Your local Rare Spares distributor has what you need when you need it. And as the only restoration company officially backed by Holden and Ford, we take our part in your project very seriously. Rare Spares, more than just a part in your project.
There's nothing like a 70s Tirana to get your heart racing.
Yeah, this is a good friend of mine, Hugo's. He's been building this car for a long time, Glenn. And you can see why it's taken 8 years. It is a stunning car. It's got a little 355 Holden in it, stroker. It's a stout car. It speaks for itself. It's got fiberglass guards, bonnet, nose comb. So it is light, and with plenty of power, it goes fast.
They're a pretty light car to start with, the Tiranas, and that's why they had so much racing success over the years. With that fiberglass intact, boy, it must pull a bit of weight off it.
I reckon it would too.
So what sort of power is the Holden engine making?
Makes 560 horsepower, Glenn.
That's stout, isn't it?
So yeah, it's a stout little engine.
And what sort of numbers down the strip is he running?
He's run a 1090 and got kicked off because it's got no roll cage, and so he's never raced it to its full potential yet. So it'll run at least in the mid-10s. Good little engine.
It's an angry machine. And the colour on this car looks absolutely spectacular too.
It's called Magenta Magic. To build a Tirana now, there's so many out there, so you've got to sort of build something different.
Yes.
And when you build something different, people look at it. Absolutely. And that's what this car is.
It stands out.
It stands out.
HK, T, G, you've got them all.
It's my son's father-son project. We're going to build it together, and HKTG runs through my blood, so the son's got to have one, doesn't he? Yeah, we bought this a little while back, probably 6-8 months ago. It's only got a little baby 6-cylinder in it for him to learn on and for his P's.
And I hear the rest of the drivetrain's pretty stout. It had a more serious power plant in it earlier on.
It did. It had a 400. It's an old Geelong car, and it came up for sale, but it only had a little 6-cylinder in it now, Glide 9-inch, Pro Stars on it. It's a nice looking car. It's original, and hopefully he can enjoy driving it for the next few years.
That snarling little small block Chevy V8.
Always wanted your very own muscle car or classic? Then Image Classic Cars is your solution. Where pride, knowledge, quality and service counts for the ultimate experience. From award-winning concourse restorations to full custom builds, muscle cars to classics of all makes and models, right-hand drive conversions, even Australia-wide enclosed pickup and delivery for your pride and joy. Also currently taking orders for the spectacular Image Classic Cars Eleanor Mustang, custom built to suit your personal requirements. Image Classic Cars. Live the dream. A tough car needs a tough oil, and that's when you need Gulf Western Oil. It's Australian-owned, developed and manufactured in their state-of-the-art production facility. So no matter what you drive, you can be assured you're in the right hands for all your lubrication needs. Gulf Western Oil, the tough Australian.
It was a pretty tough decision deciding what to drive in this collection, I've got to tell you. It's a lot of killer cars to choose from. But you know what? There's a lot of hot rodders that watch Man and Machine, and it's time for some hot rod love. And that's what I'm doing. I'm loving it. You know, it's an interesting story, hot rodding. It dates back a long time. In fact, back to the late 30s, as far as I know, when a group of Southern Californians went out on the dry lake beds and started racing their cars up and down, doing what they called time trial runs. Eventually, that actually developed into drag racing. And effectively, that is when the high-performance industry was born, throughout that period. When people used to get their cars, hot them up, become very innovative and go out and race them, see how fast they could make those things go. In fact, some names you'll recognise are Offenhauser, Moon, Edelbrock. Those guys stemmed from that hot rodding period. Speed shops started up everywhere. Drag racing became very popular. In fact, it grew like wildfire. All across the US and in Australia, drag strips started popping up everywhere. That's when the action began. You know, as far as I see it, there's two types of hot rodding. You've got your old school classic hot rods from the era, with the old flatheads and engines alike, where the theme is very similar to what it was in the day. Then you've got your more modern day hot rods, which are very, very innovative. A lot of technology and a lot of imagination applied to create amazing machines. So there's two schools of thought there, and I like both of them. Another thing I find very common too is there's a lot of small block Chevy engines used, even in Fords. Now traditionally in most type of cars, including muscle, you'd usually keep the same manufacturer of engine with the manufacturer of vehicle to keep a match. The hot rodding scene though doesn't seem to discriminate, and it probably dates right back to the early days where you run what you brung. Any type of engine in any type of car. Go out and race. But I must say the small block Chevy is a fantastic little engine. They're very robust, they're very compact, you can buy any componentry you want for them, and they perform absolutely sensational. You know what I like about this hot rod? This. That snarling little small block Chevy V8. There's nothing quite like that induction noise without the engine cowl atop, and that beautiful exhaust note right behind your head. You've got the best of both worlds. This car is pressing all the right buttons for me. Sure, it is a little bit of a handful to keep it in a straight line, that's for sure, with the tramp tracking of these tyres, but that's part of the whole experience. It's not meant to be an easy drive. It's meant to be a memorable drive, and it's almost like going back in time and knowing what it felt like those early hot rodders when they had these really interesting machines full of all types of innovative componentry to get the performance that they desired. I can just picture it now when you look back at the speed shops of old, where there would have been guys pulling up in their hot rods, lining up, walking out the door with their high performance componentry, going home and fitting it in their shed. It would have been an amazing era. Plenty of street racing and plenty of drag racing too. A little bit hard to do that these days, but that's how it was back then. You know, I've got to say that I'm very thankful that the hot rodding scene did start back when it did. and that whole high-performance industry grew and stemmed from it. Imagine what the world would be like for us car enthusiasts if the aftermarket high-performance scene never happened. I've got to tell you, it'd be extremely boring. So I'm really thankful for those pioneers back in the day that got all this stuff fired up and happening. She's definitely got some poke, pulls like a train. It's only a mild engine with a small camshaft, but very, very practical. And you've got to remember, a car like this doesn't weigh very much either, so it's going to have really good power to weight and acceleration when you need it. I know one thing, I need it. Now that is what I'm talking about. I've got to say, this car does actually drive quite well. It stops well, it handles well, it does everything so nice. Other than a little bit of movement around on the road and a bit of a bumpy ride, if you can put up with that, you'll have an absolute ball. Love the experience, love the roof off, love the open air, that small block Chevy V8 there, the noise the thing makes, the history. What an absolutely epic experience this has been for me, driving this hot rod. And I look forward to hopefully driving many more. Well, what a great episode this has been. From this beautiful low mileage Aussie classic through to the 32 Roadster, right through to pure Aussie Monaro muscle. I've had an absolute ball. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Man and Machine.
Next episode on Man and Machine, we visit a man who's been collecting Chryslers for over 40 years. And in recent times, he's expanded on his collection with different makes and models. One that stands out though is the super rare Leyland 4.7 V8. And we get to drive it. Man and Machine is brought to you by Highflex Mobile Hose Service, Shannons Insurance for Motoring Enthusiasts, and the following sponsors.